All right. Hello, chat! Are you fucking ready for this stream? Can I get some audio hypes in chat? What's up? How are y'all doing? How's it going? All right, everyone. So this is the update, all right? Because essentially what I tried to do for the past week is I have tried to the best of my ability to ignore people who try to drag me online, even though I tried to the best of my ability to say things as impartially and as kindly as possible. But fuck that, because every single time I try to do that, people keep dragging me. Well, all right, you know what? We're pushing back a little bit, baby. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna push back against the people who keep harassing me online. for saying that we shouldn't dog whistle mass violence against the rich and that we shouldn't do kink in front of children and that we should actually have some ethics about how we engage online. We're gonna push back a little bit, baby. Listen, right now, I don't know. I tried. I really tried. I took all my content down that was engaging with other people or inflammatory in any way. I really tried. But if no one else is going to stand up for me, or if only a very small handful of people are going to stand up for me, then all right, you know what? I'm going to defend myself, all right? Because I know with absolute certainty that we're absolutely in the right. And we're going to go over a lot of the people who've been pushing back against me. We're going to talk about kink at Pride. We're going to talk about how I operate ethically online. We're going to talk about Calvin Gara, because that's something that I just tried to ignore. I tried to push that out of my mind, be like, oh, you know, that they're just people acting unethically, whatever. We did the right thing. But you know what? People are fucking out of their mind with this. Wait, I thought we were in the left. We are, but we're better. Imagine you take all the ideologies that exist, and you take all the good parts from all the ideologies, and you put them together. All right, whatever that is, that's what we are, baby. Which seems to land us somewhere in the left, but obviously not fucking the far left. All right, this is our course. We are sailing high seas. All right, we are sailing turbulent tides. But you know what? I'm ready to push back, and I'm ready to defend myself, and I'm ready to defend my views against people who want to harass me. So we're gonna do it. So strap in, everyone. Super left. Yeah, sure. We're super left. Yeah. Just like there's a. You know how, like, a lot of communists were like, super capitalism. We're super left. We're super left, baby. We're super left. All right? That's what we are, all right? We're not some fucking centrists. We're not some fucking conservatives, all right? We're fucking super left. Strap in, damn Riley. Sounds kind of kinky. Shut the fuck up. Top 2 anime battles. Number 2, the left versus the right. Number 1, the left versus the left. True. I saw this guy. Yeah, listen, all right? I don't know. I am not one to take shit lying down. I don't know how you all feel. I'm the kind of person where if people push me, I'm a push back, all right? I don't take shit lying down. I don't know who you think you are dealing with, but if you thought you were dealing with a pushover, you are sadly mistaken. So why don't we get right into it with that, all right? I only have a limited amount of time because I am flying home because you know what I was planning to do this weekend? I was planning to go home and just enjoy the 4th of July with my family and enjoy my mother's birthday because that's what I would have liked to do, or that's what I would have liked to focus on. So before I fly out tonight, we're going to cover this drama. We're going to make some videos to upload tonight. We're going to get it, all right? Do you want my honest opinion? You can say whatever you want, all right? Super left. Yeah, we're super leftists, all right? We're super leftists. We're not some fucking far leftists. We're not fucking communists or whatever. We're super leftists. Oh, hey, Council of Geeks, how's it going? How dare you think you can do something relaxing? You fool. You fool. How dare you? How dare? The Sigma leftist. That's good. The Sigma leftist. All right, here we go. So, for people who have been not following somehow, actually, you know, if you don't use Twitter, that's fine. You probably, omni-leftist, that's Destiny's thing, all right? I have to do my own thing. If you want to, all right, for people who haven't been following on Twitter, which honestly, good on you. Don't use Twitter. Twitter is shit. Unless you want to support me, in which case, do use Twitter. Support me on here. But don't use Twitter otherwise, because it's terrible and awful, and it's cancer. But basically, to catch people up, the last video that I uploaded was a video where there was, essentially at the beginning of Pride Month, there was discourse about whether or not you should be able to do kink at Pride, unregulated. My position is that it's fine to do at Pride if you have it in a private space away from children. And surprisingly, I thought that that was going to be a fine thing. I thought that everyone was going to be on board with that. That is not the case, all right? And fast forward to now, because that discourse was at the beginning of the month, there was a Twitter user, Lexi, who decided, because I was going through some other drama, which we will talk about later, but we're going to talk about this for the beginning. Because there's a lot of people who are harassing me right now. My name isn't Lexi. Oh, you're here. Oh, well, fuck you. You're harassing me. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, then Doe. I've assumed that their name was Lexi, so we'll go with Doe. Yeah, so they were harassing me horrendously online for this, even though it was a month ago. So I decided to make a response to it. And I decided to actually, like, push back a little bit against people who are trying to, like, dogpile me online for saying, don't do kink in front of children. Wow, that's crazy. That's... imagine the thought about that, right? If I didn't use it for promoting my work, I would have left Twitter ages ago. Honestly, probably that would have been yeah, I mean, like, if you don't use Twitter to promote your work, honestly, I wouldn't involve yourself, right? You have to use it in order to be able to promote yourself if you're a public figure. Otherwise, I would avoid it unless you were, like, supporting your public figure, right? Yeah, so I posted this because I responded. For people who want to, like, go back and watch this, then you're more than welcome to. It's more or less just responding to this one person who's harassing me or trying to create harassment against me, all right? And wow, the responses I have been getting, fam, are something I would not have expected. Oh my God. But you know what? I decided that I would just compile them because, like, every time I say, oh, Riley, there's no way that people are arguing X, Y, or Z. There's no way that people are actually unironically arguing that thing. I want to go through some of the responses, and I just want to clear up some misconceptions and also point out that, like, there are a lot of people online who have absolutely terrible positions. All right, first, so there's, like, a combination of comments. We're just going to be reacting to, like, the comments and, like, going through them because, like, oh my God. I mean, it's not like a kid would would understand what a guy is doing in a latex suit. Now, chat, can you please, this was like one of the first comments on my YouTube video. Can someone please describe to me the problem with this kind of mentality, all right? I want to get, like, I just want to make sure that we're beginning from, like, a basic level of, like, you all understand exactly what I'm dealing with or exactly what we're dealing with, right? Because what this argument is that as long as a child does not understand that they're being involved in a sexual act, then it's fine. That's what the argument is here. It's like, oh, well, you know, if someone is getting off around me, well, the kid might not know. The kid might be completely fine, you know? Like, it doesn't really matter that much. Like, what does it matter as long as the kid doesn't understand? Which is awful, right? The example that I used when we were talking about this at the beginning of the month, oh, there are people who have severe RGR derangement. Oh, great. Wonderful. We'll go over that later. Anyway, so, like, the example that I used at the beginning of the month was to talk about the hypothetical where, let's say that you have, like, a woman who is masturbating literally right next to a 3-year-old, right? Or like a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old, someone who probably would not be able, or we'll just assume will not be able to actually remember the experience after the fact that they were involved in a sexual act or that someone was doing a sexual act right next to them, right? I would say that's pretty fucked up. I would say that that's not good to do, right? Even though the child doesn't know, even though the child may not remember, even though they may not be physically harmed, you still should not do things like, you still shouldn't do sex acts around or involving children, right? Like, I feel like that's the pretty easy baseline, but these are the kind of people that we're dealing with. All right, the discourse was dumb to begin with, that's why. I really love these responses. You know, it's been great to avoid the entire discourse, the entirety of it. Oh, the YouTube chat has cancer? Oh, I bet. Yeah, no, we'll go over that. We'll go over all of it because lefties are losing their mind over this. I'm sorry. Like, the far left, the online chronically far left, is losing their absolute goddamn mind over this. All right? Like, losing their shit. It's really weird how a lot of people really want to do kink in front of children. Like, why? Why do you want this? Why do you want to do kink in front of children? It's so fucking weird. Stop arguing for it. And you're, like, axing yourself over this. If this is the hill that I die on, I will absolutely die on this hill. 1,000%. 1,000,000%. All right? But yeah, I love these responses because you know what would have avoided the entire discourse? If we could have just all immediately agreed that doing kink in front of children is bad. But apparently that is really too hard for most people to be expected. So, okay, wonderful, fine. Oh, this is the other kind of thing. A lot of people would be like, Riley, people aren't actually unironically arguing for this. And why can't straight people stop bringing their children to adult spaces? Kink can stay at Pride, so no one should be taking their children there. First off, I don't get the straight aspect of this. But also, like, literally 1 billion% even, yeah. This is literally an argument that, like, oh yeah, people deserve to be horny at Pride more than children deserve to be there. Like, unironically, hold on. I actually cannot believe these responses. People are unironically completely fine abandoning one of the most vulnerable parts of our community so they can be horny in public. Yeah, well, fuck trans youth. Fuck trans youth. Yeah, no, if people want to be horny at Pride and just are completely fine axing off youth from being there, then fuck trans youth. That's the takeaway. These are poor arguments, but I feel like part of the problem is that the entire discourse is trying to parse what qualifies as kink versus aesthetic. Like if I wear a collar to Pride, I'm going to be getting to that Council of Geeks because I've talked about this. I have parsed through this argument so much. The problem is that no one actually wants to listen to me. Not a single person has actually listened to my argument. I guarantee I've already parsed through this and I've already parsed out what is kink, what is aesthetic, what is referential of kink versus what is not. I've already parsed through this, all right? So I will get to that. There are tweets which are specifically like getting to that idea, so I will get to that idea. Oh yeah, days since RGR is engaged in PSYOP discourse. Yeah. The whole point of the PSYOP, like just to be clear with everyone, right? The whole point of the PSYOP was to try, as I understand the 4chan, like the 4chan PSYOP, the whole point was to try and get LGBT and left-leaning people to defend doing kink at Pride, right? That's the whole point of it. That was the entire point of the PSYOP was like, oh yeah, you know what we should try to do? We should try to get like LGBT people to actually defend this shit and be able to justify it. But then people did. Like the easiest solution to all of this. People in YouTube chat want to debate. Oh, fuck that. No, I'm not going to debate over this. People are like being toxic as shit over this. No, if people want to debate, then they can go through the verification process and they can talk to me another day. Because right now I'm absolutely convinced that the vast majority of people who are engaging in this, like everyone is just harassing me over this. If they want to debate me another day, they can go through the verification process and then they can. But right now I'm convinced that most people just want to like fucking shit on me and want to fucking cause me harm. Yeah, so that's what you can tell them. But yeah, the whole point of the PSYOP was to try and get LGBT and left-leaning people to defend doing kink in front of children. The people who are fucking up are literally the ones defending it. If you're defending it, you're fucking up. You're giving into the PSYOP. That's what you're doing. Stop giving into the PSYOP. Stop defending this shit. That's how you win. You just say, don't do kink in front of children. You do not defeat the PSYOP by actually doing what they want you to do. All right? This is the easiest win ever. Oh yeah, hold on. Here are some. Oh yeah, so here's like a couple of them, right? It really sounds like that she skips over the nuance of kink to assume it's sexual. Not all attraction is sexual, yet we celebrate all of it. To use this logic to say that any attraction is sexual is sexual because it tends to end in sex most often. Therefore, all celebrations of attraction are bad. So like, first off, not a single person who has said that kink isn't inherently sexual, like not a single person who has said that kink isn't inherently sexual has actually given me a definition. Yeah, listen, it's fine. Listen, I'm going to defend myself on this. I don't care. Not a single person, not one person who has actually defined kink to me or has tried to tell me that kink isn't inherently sexual has given me an adequate definition. I've gotten definitions of like, for example, I've gotten definitions of kink as like accepting other people, or I've gotten definitions of kink being, like about loving another person, which, all right, I guess that every single person is kink inherently. I guess that trans people are inherently kink. I guess that gay people are inherently kink. And I don't know. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to concede that like LGBT people are inherently kink. I don't know. I don't just get off to the thought of being trans, right? Unless we're suddenly arguing for like woke Blanchardism, right? I don't know if people who want to advocate for like trans people being defined as kink is like, because the natural progression of that is that like, oh, that means that like trans people are just like inherently getting off to the idea of themselves being trans. And that's literally woke Blanchardism. That's what Blanchardism is, people. But apparently we're arguing our way into that. Seems really weird. I don't know. Yeah, and also, oh, hold on, back up here. Kinky people should be accepted at Pride. Wearing leather, latex, or a pup hood is not a sex act without intention. These are not sex acts in and of themselves without the intention. Leather folk belong at Pride. If Pride is inherently sexual, how do you explain asexual folks involved in kink? All right, so there's a couple aspects of this, and I've made this argument a ton. I've made this argument so many times, all right? I'm going to make it again. I know that half of you, or the majority of you, are not going to listen, but I'm going to make it again, so you better fucking listen so that you can't say, oh, Riley, but what about this? What about this? What about this? So I'm going to make the argument. The way that we determine what is a sexual act is by looking at the intent of a person to further or to satisfy a sexual desire. That is the bottom line. Because that is looking at intent, we have to be able to arrive at that. We have to be able to deduce whether or not someone is doing a sex act inductively, looking at the totality of the circumstances. And one of the best ways to be able to know if someone is intentionally trying to satisfy a sexual desire, in my opinion, is looking at whether or not they are using something which is primarily designed or primarily understood to be used for sexual purposes. Really good example. I thought that gimp suits were an example because, I mean, like, I just Googled gimp suit. I don't know, fam. Like, I don't know, fam. Anyone who tries to tell me that these aren't, like, predominantly or primarily used for sexual purposes, I don't think they've touched grass. I don't think that they've actually had sex. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's TOS. I don't know anymore. I have no idea. Like, is it TOS? Is it not? I genuinely, at this point, like, I think it would be, but I think a lot of people would be arguing that it doesn't, but fuck, I don't know. But here, right, what we have is an example where it's like, when you are using something, which is, resorting to ad hom, lovely. What do you mean resorting to ad hom? What are you talking about? When people are using something which is specifically and primarily designed, what do you call it? I'm talking about when you use something which is primarily and intentionally designed to be used for sexual purposes, I feel like it's not a far stretch to say that you're using it for a sexual purpose. Another example would be like a vibrating butt plug, all right? If you use a vibrating butt plug, I mean, technically we can think of other reasons that you could use a vibrating butt plug when you shove it up your ass, right? Touch grad, had not had sex, using those things to dismiss people, that's absolutely not an ad hom. If you are so disconnected from reality that you won't acknowledge these things as primarily being used for sexual acts, then I think that that's absolutely indicative that you are disconnected from reality. I think that's absolutely not an ad hom. 1000% not an ad hom. All right? If you do not look at these things and acknowledge that these are used primarily for sexual purposes, I'm sorry, you are living in a different reality. You are absolutely living in a different reality. We're in a bit of a defined pornography problem here. I can't define it, but I know when I see it, and the arguments are begging for clear definitions to be coherent. That's why we use an appeal to the average reasonable person. I do not think that there's any average reasonable person that can look at these examples, even within the LGBT community, even within the kink community, and say that these are not used primarily, if not solely, for sexual purposes. I don't think that those people exist. I think that anyone who looks at these and says, oh, you know, those are just like casual costumes. Oh, you know, those are just used for non-sexual purposes. I don't think that they've ever used them. I don't think that they're connected to reality. I think that they are unreasonable people. But I think that the vast majority of people can look at these things and acknowledge, like, they're used for sexual purposes, right? An ad hom is a fallacy and substantiation for an argument. The statement in the case at bar is an orbiter conclusion. There you go. Anyway, yeah, so we would all, so that's the way that I would try to tell. Like, when we are talking about things which are primarily used for sexual purposes, we shouldn't allow people to use those things since they are primarily used for sexual purposes. We shouldn't allow them to be used in public and especially around children. Bottom line. All right? That is the argument. That is the result. So, like, if we want to run through a couple of hypotheticals, right? Let's talk about leatherware. All right? If we're talking about leatherware and you wear like a leather outfit, and you're outside and it's like you're representing your kink, right? You're representing your daddy kink. I would say in that sense that you are either acting referentially, you're referencing back to a kink, and also you're acting primarily with a fashion intent, right? You're trying to wear it because, like, it's fashionable. You're representing something, right? But we wouldn't make that same extension for things which are primarily used for sexual purposes, right? Like a vibrating butt plug. I would feel pretty weird if someone was, like, if I was interacting with someone and they were using a vibrating butt plug and they just told me, oh, you know, I'm just using it to represent myself. Oh, I'm just using it to, like, talk about how cool my kink is, right? Like, no. Something non-sexual can be a kink in context. No more sussy. Wait, what are you talking about? We're talking about things which are primarily used for sexual purposes. If anyone tries to tell me that this is not used for primarily sexual purposes, I'm going to ban you from chat. You are not a reasonable person. You are absolutely not a reasonable person. All right? I will not accept that. And so, like, with leather, I can believe that, like, you know, there are other reasons that someone could want to wear that, you know, for primarily fashion purposes, since, you know, leather jackets have a lot of different uses, right? Or, like, I know that Lexi tried using the example of, like, oh, what if I would just, like, go barefoot to like, the beach, right? And my partner has, like, a kink that explicitly makes it sexual. I mean, like, in that case, if you're doing it explicitly to appeal to a sexual desire, it is kind of a sexual act. It is. If you're doing it to appeal to their sexual desire, then yeah, that's probably not good. But, like, if you're doing it just because you're going to the beach and you're just wearing sandals, like, that's something that pretty much everyone does when they go to the beach. It's fine. You're not doing it for a sexual purpose, right? The simple statement of don't do kink near children was transformed into RGR wants to ban kink, period. Yeah, I know. Listen, the problem is that no one here is actually listening to me. No one will actually listen to my arguments. None of them do. They just hear me say anything contrary to the popular ideas, and they just immediately take that and go a mile. All right? No, none of these people will listen to me. None of them will actually engage with me. They just want to yell and scream at me. All right? But we're going to get into more examples. Oh, yeah. Speaking of examples, please get some mental health. That's just ableism. That's just ableism. Yeah, because it's not, I can't remember if this was satire, because basically, like, so the video was titled, Why Can't Lefties Say That Kink in Front of Children is Bad? Because it's not, I don't know if that's satire. It's pretty weird to me that now we're at the point where it's like, I can't tell if this is satire or not, but like, right now we are in this weird place where like, I just can't fucking tell. Update, pain. Oh, wait, yeah, so this was from the person who argued that like, oh yeah, it's totally fine to be able to involve kids in sex acts as long as they don't know. That person. Oh, look, a grooming strategy. It's not everyone else's job to protect your child. Oh, look, brazen and overeager attempts to frame a persecuted minority as inherently dangerous to children. Haven't seen that one before. So, two things here. First, it's not everyone else's job to protect your child if I'm sexually involved, or if I'm involving them in a sexual act. What can I say but yikes? It hurts! Literally, most children victims of pedophilia don't know that they're involved in a sexual act. I know! Do you still hold the view of if there's a designated area for kink at Pride, it's fine? Yes, I do! I've always said that. I've never said anything to the contrary. I'm arguing against doing it in public and around children. If you want to have a designated area Pride for it where there's not going to be children and there's only people who consent to what's being done in there, that's fine. Just don't do it in front of children. That's it. That's the whole take. I don't know if people don't know how to listen, or people are actually unironically arguing for pedophilia, or people are negligently arguing for pedophilia but don't realize it. Like, it's just really, yeah. Just checking a field, you need to press that a bit more. Yeah, I'm talking about not letting it be done in front of children. That's what I'm talking about. Funny how people are mad at you and decide the best way to respond to you is by being ableist, transphobic, and generally harassing you and threatening you. Yeah, I know, Calvin. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I know. That's super fucking weird, right? Super fucking weird how that happens. Breathe, Riley. I know. Listen, it's really hard. I don't know how many of you have actually ever like been harassed by hundreds upon hundreds of people every single time you put something out that you think should be really reasonable and you think everyone should be able to like rationally agree with, and then you get dogpiled by like hundreds upon hundreds of people on the internet telling you to fucking kill yourself, telling you that you need to fucking go get mental health, even though you're absolutely saying what's in the right? Like, it's really... I wonder what that... Yeah, I know, right? It's really weird to deal with that, right? So yeah, I'm pushing back a little bit. But yeah, so like, first, the idea that it's not everyone else's job to protect your child from me sexually involving them in a sexual act if they don't know it. That's the unspoken part here, right? This person is actually... It's either negligently or intentionally advocating for pedophilia. I'm sorry, that's absolutely what this is. And this person... Apparently, kinks are now tantamount to sexualities and gender, is the argument here, right? Oh, look, brazen and overeager attempts to frame a persecuted minority as inherently dangerous to children. Haven't seen that one before. I think that there's a big difference. Between someone having a kink for public humiliation and getting off to children and someone just being gay. You know? Like... I feel like there's just a little bit of difference. Do you stand by your tweet earlier that leftists are the biggest reason why trans people are killing themselves? Did you actually read what I posted after that? I literally posted directly after that. Hold on. I'm going to put Mike, you specifically don't know how to read, all right? And it's really bothering me. I want you to pull up. Give me the link to that tweet right now. Give me the link to the tweet. I want to go over this because you do not know how to read. You actually can't read. I don't know if you can. Because if you would know how to read beyond one thing, beyond one tweet, So here's what I said in the midst of getting all of the harassment I was the other day. I have to wonder if the online left is one of the leading contributors to trans suicide for relentlessly bullying trans women or standing by and doing absolutely nothing about it when they do see it. Because it's really weird. Because it's really, really weird that there's a lot of people on the left who will relentlessly harass trans people who don't agree with them. It's really weird how that happens. But note that I said directly after, to clarify, this is more me venting than a statement of perceived fact. Dealing with multiple harassment campaigns one after another takes their toll. So does that answer your question? It's amazing that, you know, if you read the things that I say, that in fact I have already answered the question. Anyway, what else do we got? Oh yeah, this is another one. All right, so this was like a more complicated one. Children aren't being excluded from Pride, nor would kink community participation in Pride serve as an exclusionary pressure on kids at Pride, which is absolutely wrong. I mean, if people are doing kink at Pride, if they're specifically appealing to sexual desires at Pride, then that would necessarily either exclude children by virtue of the fact that we don't want children to be involved in sexual acts, or they would be fine involving kids in sexual acts. Absolutely. What the Prude Patrol wants to do is equate kink as a whole with sex. That is an unjustifiable simplification. The Prude Patrol, by the way, will never seek to disabuse themselves over this oversimplification because they enjoy being cops too much. This is nuance that Riley refuses to engage with. Ergo, she will keep beating this drum forever. So here's what I want to talk about with this, and this is going to be a really big thing. Not no offense being annoying in YouTube chat. Oh, you mean no offense who gaslighted me about whether or not I was being sent hundreds of death threats? Yeah. Oh, hold on. Because that was actually pretty amazing. No offense who gaslit me about being sent hundreds upon hundreds of death threats. Here. Yeah, totally. 100%. Twitter.com. Yeah, that no offense. That wonderful. That 10 out of 10 no offense. Yeah, totally cool. Not gaslighting. Not totally like harm enabling, no offense. Yeah, I what a fan I am. Oh my God, that's crazy. Here, where is that? God. Riley, you literally went on a blocking spree of socialists and said somebody jokingly asking to bite your finger was a direct threat of harm. This whole situation was such a mess because of your response was unproportional. I really don't think that you're doing yourselves any favor. Getting hundreds upon hundreds of death threats from socialists is apparently tantamount to just a joke about biting your finger. Like, fam, I don't know how to explain this any clearer than this. This is abuse enabling. This is enabling abuse. Like, I don't know how to put that any cleaner. Like, if hundreds upon hundreds of people, like, harass you for saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't dog whistle causing mass violence to the wealthy, and then someone comes around and says, oh, Riley, you know, I mean, come on, it was just a joke. I mean, this is the exact same shit that people on the far right do every single time that Stone Toss makes a new comic. The exact same thing. Every time that Stone Toss comes out with a comic where the joke is, oh, trans people should kill themselves. Oh, black people are degenerate. Oh, the Jews are in control of everything. Every single conservative comes around and says, oh, but you know, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Come on, everyone. Dude, Stone Toss is not serious with that. Like, this is absolutely harm enabling behavior. So, okay, that's cool. Wonderful. I hope you're doing well there, friend. I hope that you are doing great. Anyway, yeah, so this is like so the argument here, or the response to make here, is to point out the fact that, like, no one ever, when they say that there's some magical nuance to what kink is, or to say that there's some kinds of kink that are non-sexual, will ever give you a definition of kink that's not sexual, or that involves things that are non-sexual. I have tried so hard to get one, and no matter what I do, no matter everything I've done, what I will get, and there's some great examples in here. There are some examples where people will say, like, oh, you know what kink is? Kink is accepting each other. Kink is caring about each other. Kink is loving each other, which now everyone is kink. Congratulations, it is now a meaningless term. Everyone is that thing. these people have no idea what they're talking about, I think. Or they want kink to mean something so confounded that they have lost the plot. I can conceive of a definition of kink. Like I said in the video I'm referencing, I could conceive of a definition of kink. Oh, reminds me of Demon Mom pretending woman has no definition. Yeah, it's really weird, right? How a lot of these same people will go around and make the exact same arguments for what, to say that gender doesn't have any meaning because they don't understand it. That's the reason they make the argument, is because they fundamentally don't understand it, or they don't want to acknowledge that actually there's more to this idea than they want to deal with, right? I do not consent to being defined in the kink. Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't consent to being trans defined in the kink, you know? I've actually worked a lot so that I'm not inherently defined into kink by virtue of who I am, either in terms of my sexuality or my gender, you know? Like, you're kink, I'm kink, we're all kink, we're all kink. Everyone is kink, apparently. Yeah, so, pain. Yeah, this is the cheat code question. Just ask people to define kink where it isn't sexual. You'll never get a good answer. You never will. This is the cheat code, fam. You just ask for a question, you'll never get a good answer. Why are we so focused on something that doesn't happen at Pride? Oh, by the way, because I am fully aware of the 4chan, and I'm fully aware of the initial the initial picture, the one where it's like the girl interacting with two pup people, is supposed to not have happened at Pride. The reason why we are talking about this is because you know what the response should have been when that information was released? Everyone collectively said, okay, cool, that should not be at Pride. That's what the response is. That's the answer. The response that you have is not, oh, well, that should have happened at Pride, or even if that did happen at Pride, that would be okay. No! You don't do that. When someone comes around and says, oh, this didn't happen at Pride, you don't immediately turn around and say, oh, well, we shouldn't do that. Or we should do that. We should be able to do that. Kink is defined as whatever kinky people view as kink. Yeah, I know, right? Listen, everyone is going to be mad at me about this. Everyone is going to be mad at me about this. I don't care. I'm exposing an incredibly toxic and abusive enabling part of the internet right now, all right? If this is what I got to do, then this is what I got to do, all right? If this is the calling, if no one else will do this, then I'm going to be the one to call out these people, because these people are so rife in the left, all right? And I'm not going to be the person to sign off on this kind of behavior, all right? Please put your mental health first. Listen, I'm going to go on vacation for a couple days after this. This is the LFTR Riley. It never fucking ends. Amazing. Oh, yeah. This is my favorite one. Kink is about trust and love between partners. You ghoul. Ah! It hurts so much. It hurts so much. Ah! It hurts so much. So yeah, by this definition, everyone in a loving relationship is definitionally kink. Everyone, you all are kink. Everyone is kink. God. I mean, that's what it can be about, but is that what it is? No, the answer is no, it's not. Kink is when happy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and this is someone, all right, yeah, and this is someone who replied to this. Actually, all right, so we all just agree that this is like a dog shit, terrible response, right? We all just agree that we can agree that this is a dog shit, terrible response, right? Someone actually responded with this. Yep. Congratulations, you figured it out. Kinks are commonplace, and it's generally understood that everyone has them, and loving, trusting friendships are the basis of kink. You'd know this if you practiced any sort of insight and don't judge yourself too harshly. Yeah, kink is when someone loves another person, and the reason that you don't agree with me is because you judge yourself too harshly. You get kink. Everyone gets kink. Oh my god. This shit's so disingenuous. This shit is disingenuous and fucking there's no way she doesn't realize that. This is the kind of comment that comes from someone who just saw the title of the video and hasn't bothered watching 2 seconds of any of the discussions on this or any of the people I interact with online who absolutely have this problem. Like, let me be clear. The thing that really sucks is that the vast majority of people who have super, super hard opinions on this haven't become familiar with any of my arguments, haven't actually paid attention to anything I've been saying, have not seen that I've answered every question that I have. Like, every question I've gotten in the stream, I've answered multiple times at this point. Multiple times. I'm not against kink, just leave kids alone. Yes! If you want to do your kink, that's fine. Just leave kids alone. This is not hard. Also, holy shit, what the fuck? What tumor pilled me was people going absolutely crazy over your follow criteria, doc. Like, what? Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. We're going to be getting to that. Yeah, that's going to be a whole nother thing, fam. Oh, yeah, this is a person. Isn't this like a decently sized YouTuber? You should write a legal brief. Oh, yeah, this is related to the doc. You should write a legal brief on why spreading reactionary right-wing talking points is unethical. The conspiracy theory that tons of LGBTQ plus people are trying to corrupt, use sinister means to influence or prey on children is one as old as time. It's very dangerous. Yeah, I really love the focus on the legal brief because this is some... By the way, just to catch people up, we'll talk about this a little more in a little bit. I wrote a doc to talk about, like, how I follow people online because I tried to be ethical and people lost their mind over it. We're going to get back to that later, but I guess this is another person who's mad about that, so... Okay. And I responded, you should actually think ethically, or you should actually think about the harm that you can cause the LGBT community by literally advocating for kink in front of children. If it's a conspiracy theory that LGBTQ people are trying to do kink in front of children, then we shouldn't be advocating for it. It's not hard! Like, fam, it should not be hard. If this is not a thing, then stop advocating for it. Everyone should just be able to sit down and collectively say, we don't support this. We want to do it. Like, we're fine with people doing it, but not in front of children. That's what we have to do. It should be easy. But I guess it's not. Whatever. Oh yeah, this is another... There are a lot of examples of people saying... this is like the same one. Because generalized term for a large community doesn't encapsulate arguments being had, but you say that wearing a leather collar in front of your kids is bad. If no, then the statements you should be saying becomes there's kinks that should be not shown to children. I've already responded to this. Also, this is another person. If I had nickel for every time that someone has tried to argue that kink isn't inherently sexual without giving a definition that isn't loving and accepting other people, I would be rich at this point. I would be fucking rich at this point. Because every single time someone wants to be like, oh, kink isn't inherently sexual. And then I come around and I ask like, all right, so then what is kink if it's not inherently sexual? And I never get an answer. I never get one. Ever. Or I get loving and accepting other people. What the fuck is going on? Calling people is mentally... All right, hold on. I'm not following mods deal with that. I don't know what's going on. Don't call people mentally ill. Ableism, not cool. But also, if that's not happening, then you should be banned for spreading misinformation. Oh, yeah. I've already talked about... Wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. Performing kink in front of anyone who isn't consenting is bad, regardless of their children. True. Public sex acts shouldn't be reasonably allowed to pride, but you seem to differentiate between sex acts and simply representation in both context and intent. How do you regulate intent? Kissing my partner can be sexual depending on the context. Kissing my partner in public is not. Intent and context differentiate it here. How do you regulate the intent of people representing kink at Pride? I'm not saying this to defend either side, just that I don't see how reasonable policy could be enforced well. Like with your example of going barefoot in public, nobody can reasonably know why they're barefoot or if it's being done for a sexual context. I'm going to explain this again. I explained it before, but I'm going to explain it again, all right? The way that we're able to best... Because we're primarily looking at intent, we have to be able to inductively reason out what someone's intent is. That means relying on the totality of the circumstances, right? So the best way, in a lot of circumstances, this isn't the only way, but I think the best way to be able to enforce a kind of policy where we prevent people from doing the kinds of things that we want to enforce is to prevent the usage of things which are primarily designed for sexual purposes. If you want to use a butt plug, we can technically think of instances where someone can use a butt plug for non-sexual purposes, but like, let's be real. The vast majority of people are using those for sexual purposes. So you shouldn't use them in public, and especially not around children. Whereas with walking barefoot in public, most people walk barefoot in public for not... What, a leaky butt? All right, sure. If you have a leaky butt, then sure. Then you can use a butt plug in public. I don't know why it's vibrating. But most people don't walk barefoot in public for sexual purposes, right? Most people don't. If you happen to have a kink, you shouldn't. I guess it's going to be really hard for us to be able to enforce it. It's morally wrong of you to do that around other people if you're getting off to it, if it's a kink for you. But like, there's no way to be able to know in that instance because we're basically just asking you to be on your best behavior because you're doing something which most people would assume is a pretty normal activity, right? That's the way that we would enforce the policy, prevent the usage of things which are primarily designed for sexual intent or sexual purposes, right? The barefoot argument is incredibly weak. I don't think that's a commonly held belief. Wait, are you talking about like the one that's given here? I mean, like another example would be like, I know that the Scrub King used it in the panel like a month ago when we're talking about bikinis, right? Now, he argued that like, oh, because some people can interpret bikinis to be sexual, then should we ban bikinis? And my answer would be like, no, because most people don't just put on bikinis and begin like getting super hot and horny from just wearing a bikini, right? It's just a piece of clothing for the vast majority of people, right? You wear it, you go to the beach, you can feel good about yourself, you know? For any reason that's not sexual, right? Programmer socks. Yeah, sure, programmer socks too. I imagine that most people don't wear programmer socks just to be sexual. I imagine that people wear them for fashion purposes or non-sexual purposes, right? And because of that, unless it's very overtly clear that like you're in public, like if there's just like someone standing there and they're just standing in a bikini and they're not doing anything weird versus someone who's like moaning to themselves and like squirming and it looks like they're doing something sexual, then like in the latter case, sure, at that point we can say that you should not be there because you're very clearly based on other evidence getting off to a sexual act, but most of the time we're going to be fine, right? Cool. So that's that argument. Again, I'm going to have to repeat this so many times though. Can we please shut the fuck up about this? This discourse has been going on for all Pride Month. It's utterly meaningless, and the more you stick on it, the less charitable I find myself feeling to you still on about it, even though I agree. This feels like click farming now. Because yeah, defending myself from online harassment from mobs of people saying, checks notes, don't do kink in front of children. That's the take, fam. The internet is losing their mind over it. In fact, hold on. Just to prove the point. Oh, damn, 169 viewers. Here, let's see all the fully rational people. This is such a bad joke, Riley. So rational. Cat mostly agrees. Oh, nice. I want to see like some of the amazing people in chat. Stop right there. Do you have a license for that kink? Some people, all right, actually it doesn't seem like to be as terrible. All right. What's the ratio on this? Hold on, can someone get me like the view ratio on this? I'm actually really curious. Hold on, can someone get me... Oh, damn! Almost even. Amazing. Yeah, no, totally, absolutely, very, very, very happy people. Have you seen Twitter, Demon Mama? Oh, is Demon Mama going off about this? Of course she is. I am unsurprised. Is anyone actually unsurprised that Demon Mama of all people is actually going to defend kink in front of children? I'm sorry. Then again, I shouldn't assume. Maybe you're talking about something else. Maybe you're referencing something else that happened. I don't know. Hopefully she is not. I cannot guarantee. But yeah, no, defending myself from online harassment, I don't think that's click farming. I don't really think it is. I don't know. Like for me, and I'm going to say this going forward, all right? She is not, but it's not that better. Okay. All right, then cool. Then Demon Mama is not defending, then until someone shows me evidence to the contrary, I'm not going to say that Demon Mama is defending doing kink in front of children on Twitter. All right? That's what I thought from that. But if that is not the case, then do not take that from this. Okay? Cool. But yeah, basically the way that I'm going to deal with this drama going forward is that, like, I'm not going to go looking for fights. I'm not. I don't like looking for fights, all right? But when I try to say something, which I think is a pretty neutral statement, and I try to, like, you know, say what I think is right, and people dogpile and harass me, I'm going to push back. I'm going to absolutely push back, all right? I'm not going to go looking for fights. I'm not. Hopefully, the idea is that if I put out videos where I actually respond to people, if I actually put out videos where if I put out videos where I respond to people who are harassing me, then in theory, eventually they would stop. Because that's what I want. I want to just focus on researching good policy. That's what I want. But if people are going to fucking harass me for saying that we shouldn't do kink in front of children, then yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to push back a lot of it. Because saying that kink is bad means siding with the anti-LGBT evangelicals. To side with the evangelicals at all is to be siding with your moral enemy. Edit, I think that your views lead to accidental views that you side with evangelicals and thus viewed as hazardous to the community. So the response to this, and I've heard this argument a lot, and it's really weird to me, right? Because the argument is essentially because conservatives have levied criticisms in bad faith before, right? Like the really good example here is think of the children, right? Like a lot of people when this was going down were like making fun of me or attacking me for citing like, thinking about children, right? But Riley's not anti-kink. No, I'm not. I'm just anti. How many times do I have to say this? Just don't do it in front of children. I'm fine with kink. I'm kink. Like I have kinks that I enjoy. All right. But there's a difference in that I don't want to do them. I don't do them in front of children. Just don't do them in front of children. That's it. That's the take. Stop assuming I'm like anti-kink and anti-sex and all that. Like, it's not hard. I'm not advocating for like some crazy like, oh, we should have like no sex and no sex positivity or whatever. It's just, dear God. So what are you defining as kink? I mean, like right now, the best definition that we have is when you are appealing to an unconventional sexual desire or attraction. That's the best one that I've gotten so far. Technically, we can think of a definition of kink which also encapsulates things which are referential of kink. But as I said in the previous video, so basically like, to go back to the example I talked about in the previous video was infinity collars, right? Because that's because infinity collars was one that someone else tried to bring up the last time that I talked about kink on panels, right? And basically, the way that I would look at infinity collars, because like to me, there doesn't seem to be an inherent reason why it should be kink, unless you are assuming that it's kink by virtue of the fact that it is referential to a relationship or an act that is otherwise sexual in nature, right? Like you wear it because you are referencing the fact that you have a fundamentally sexual relationship with another person. That seems to be the appeal of it. You're not always using it for sexual purposes, but in the times where you're not using it for a sexual purpose, you are referencing. You're referencing back to a sexual relationship. But in that case, if we have like these two groups of things under this umbrella of kink, which is things which are directly which you do to appeal to sexual desires or tastes, which are sexual acts then, and then things which are referential to sexual desires or tastes, I would say that we would have those separated, where the latter is not kink and the former is. Because you want to know what we already do this for? We already do this for sex and gender. We already do this for sex and gender. We don't just say that, oh, just because gender is referential of biological sex, that it is the same thing as biological sex, right? Like, we are able to meaningfully recognize the distinction between these two things. So I don't get why we don't do the same thing with kink and things which are referential of kink. If you're not doing something at the moment which is specifically appealing to a sexual desire or taste, then fine. That's totally cool. Just don't call it kink. Just don't call it kink. Call it something else. In the same way that we call things which may be in some way referential to biological sex, but is not the same and has a lot of unique differences, unique to itself, gender, and not biological sex, call that something else. Anyway. Oh yeah, 10 hours of completely missing the point, condensed in 10 minutes of completely missing. Yeah, this is someone who just didn't bother to read it all. I think this is the last one. Oh yeah, all right. This is a calmer one. All right. Hey Riley, I really respect you and your points of view when it comes to justice, and I also think that you have a lot of room for expansion. Doing kink in front of children is an incredible non-issue when looking at the scope and nature of childhood sexual abuse. CSA, the site of these incidents are by and large committed within and around the home or facilities by either family members, family friends, and adults in positions of authority. So again, this goes back to the idea that like when you have instances, okay, where people are arguing for something, again, like right now, we are not talking about descriptively what is the case. We are having a prescriptive argument, All right. What does that mean? It means that we're arguing about what should or should not be, as opposed to apparently the case of whether or not it is or is not, right? Like, it's not the case where it's like, people are arguing about, oh, what's the facts of the merits of, how much kink has happened at every state, or how much it's happened, or like if it happened at this, and this location, right? Like, those aren't the conversations that are happening. The conversations that are happening about the subject are whether or not it is or is not morally okay to do unregulated and in front of children. That's what we're talking about, right? So to say, oh, well, Riley, it's not happening, doesn't address the people who are actually arguing that it should be able to happen, right? Should we be able to drop bombs on children? IDK man, it's not a big deal right now. According to the CSA, it's not an issue. Wait, what the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, in this instance, we're able to recognize that just because something is not, hold on, should we not drop bombs on children? I mean, you shouldn't drop bombs on children, yeah. Just for, it should be a really easy question, right? Like, similarly to the question of, should we drop bombs on children? Very similarly to that, it should be a relatively easy calculus. Where in this case, I don't want to bring in international affairs because that's going to be a lot more complicated, right? But there should be relatively easy questions, which we should be able to answer morally without getting too complicated, right? Should you murder other people without provocation? Well, it's not happening that much in the country, but the answer should be no, right? How do you regulate it? All right, if you don't, you can watch back in the VOD. If someone asks me, how do you regulate this again? I'm going to ban you because I've already answered this question multiple times. What if the children are really annoying? Yeah. I think the kid argument is unnecessary. I think displaying kink attire is something that you have everyone consent to, and doing it in public is insecure. Yeah, no, I generally agree, right? But right now we're very specifically talking about children, right? Because people are even justifying it in front of children. Yeah, so... Dear God. Oh, and just to put a pin on it, I'm curious, what's the ratio on the video right now? 108 to 63. Yeah, listen, fam. I don't know. I'm incredibly, sure, I'm heated right now, but I feel like the reason why is because this should be like a really, 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 really easy issue. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand why people who probably otherwise agree that it's important to protect children, who advocate for rights of trans youth to be able to access healthcare, who care about the well-being of children, are fine justifying kink happening at Pride unregulated in public spaces where children would be, which would necessarily mean either involving them in sex acts or, conversely, not allowing them to be there. Why? Have you ever considered putting an opinion on Twitter as like a lightning rod for stupid contrarian responses? I have considered that. But the thing is, it's not just stupid contrarian responses, because there are a lot of people, we'll talk about this in a second, but there are people like Mel, like Doe, like Chaos Cranium, decently sized YouTuber, who share these opinions as well, right? Like, there are a lot of other people who are in the community who do share these opinions. Even if these are like fringe far left people, it should be really, 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 really easy. It should be really easy for us to all just say that this isn't okay. What sex acts are happening in public? Hold on. I just explained the entirety of my argument. If you actually haven't been listening to me, I'm just going to ban you. All right? Like, I'm at that point now. Like, if there are people who haven't actually... Mella's in the left, yeah. I mean, like, if there are people who actually at this point are going to ask me, like, stupid-ass questions where I have absolutely answered all the questions, then I'm just going to ban you. Riley, these people can't even say that violence is bad. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's just upsetting that these people are condoning a situation where pedophilia can occur. Yep. I don't know. Yeah, going forward, this is the way I'm going to be reacting to people online. Like, if people are going to harass me, then I'm going to push back. So I would advise that people who want to support me, go out and show your support. And there you go. I really like the gender versus sex argument for non-active kink terminology, RDR gave. That seems right. Yeah, I mean, like, we already do this for gender, right? Like, we all do this now, currently. Like, we recognize a distinction between something which is in large way referential of one thing and the actual thing. Like, we do that currently. So I don't understand why people in this instance are like, oh, no, it's all under one umbrella. You know, that's the same thing that conservatives do, where it's like, oh, yeah, gender and sex, it's all under one umbrella. It's all the exact same thing, right? Wait, is this the Scorch Earth RGR arc? To some extent. I mean, like, if there are people who are going to harass me, then I'll scorch them, right? But, like, if people are going to, all I want is for people to not harass me online. That's all I want. That's all I want. The day when people stop harassing me, I'm just going to focus on making shorts and doing my own thing. Just don't harass me online. That's it. I just don't want to be harassed on the internet for saying things that I think are the most non-controversial, ice-cold, nuclear-cold takes possible. You know? Can I interest you in everything all of the time? A little bit of everything all of the time. Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime. A little bit of everything all of the time. Good for you. Yeah. When ice cold takes gets you canceled. Yeah, I know, right? No, the Bo Burnham video is so good. It's so good. Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime. All of the time. Also, the one song. I'm sorry, I'm taking a little bit of a break because, all right, fam, we got through one segment. We're moving quickly. Breathe. Good. All right. The next one is going to be interesting, but yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about Bo Burnham for a second. Next, ESO. I don't think we're going to get around to ESO today. I apologize. Also, are we still streaming in the ESO category? Is that why people are asking? Hold on, let me double check. No, we're not. Okay. I'm sorry. We will try to relax. What are your top 5 favorite songs ever? Oh, fuck. The top one is Paprika from the movie Paprika. All Eyes on Me. Yeah, that's actually, honestly, All Eyes on Me is probably already up in one of my top 5. It's so good. It's so good. Montero is also up there. Yeah, those are easily, they've all just easily some of my top 3 favorite songs. Misleading, cringe, and unbased. Yeah, sorry. Promise You ESO? Yeah, I'm sorry. Montero is such a banger. Best track in Instant Sexting. Yeah. Doe uses It's. I thought that my understanding was that Doe used It's and also they, them, and she, her. But all right, I'll try. I'm just not used to it. But sure, I'll try. Am I confusing Montero and Call Me By Your Name? To explain it with example, is Lil Nas okay around? What? Yes. Hold on. Are you asking that question actually in good faith? If you're all right, well, hold on. If people are actually going to ask those kind of questions, I'm legitimately convinced that you're just trying to shit on me. Anyway, all right. You know what? All right. Nope. Now I am back to being Scorched Earth Riley. So let's have a chat about this. Yeah, so to catch people up. Hey, Calvin. Yeah, let's play guitar together. Calvin, we're doing a segment about you because I want to defend myself a little bit. So I hope you don't mind because I tried to make it where I wasn't going to talk about this anymore. If you don't want me to, if you would rather me not, you can tell me and I won't, all right? But I kind of want to because this is along the same lines of people harassing me, especially lefties harassing me for doing what they want. Giving them the thing that they want. You all think I'm crazy. Oh, well, just hold on to your seats, fam. This is... If you think that lefties would get mad for literally giving them exactly the thing that they asked for, if you didn't think that they would get mad at me over that, then you would be wrong. So, let's get into it. I uploaded this video towards the beginning of the month, talking to Calvin Garra about Cops Hate Mo's recent video. To catch people up, I talked to Calvin on stream because I just talk to people who I am close to on stream sometimes, and that is the thing I do, and sometimes I upload those conversations because I am a streamer, and that is what I do. And I had a conversation with Calvin. No, of course I don't mind. Okay, cool. And so I had a conversation with Calvin about Cops Hate Mo's recent video. I was going through it because I was interested because I was discussed in the video. And I felt like I was very poorly misrepresented. But then I also talked to Calvin about ways that Calvin could improve and do better. And those criticisms that Mo laid, even though Mo ended up causing me massive amounts of harassment, we will get to that in a second. Yeah, we talked about ways that Calvin could improve. And you know what happened as a result of this conversation? Calvin took down all of his controversial videos. He did the thing that everyone wanted. You know? Please don't lump us all in the one homogenous group. All right, I'm not lumping all lefties in the one homogenous group. I'm saying that the people who are predominantly doing this are lefties. All right? I understand the way that you resolve this, if you are left-leaning and you condone this behavior, and you don't approve of this behavior, is to condemn it. That's the way that you deal with it. I can come on stream later if you just want to. I don't have as much time today because I'm getting ready because I have a flight later. When I get back in the chair. Should have been taken down, TBH, but thanks for doing that. Well, yeah, but Calvin did the thing. Like, again, when we are all talking about ways that people who have done some kind of wrong can improve, that seemed to be the thing that everyone was asking for, right? And the reason that Calvin took them down was because, and Calvin can correct me, he is in the chat, because I talked to him and I changed his mind. And I showed him that actually, yeah, you know, this is causing a lot of harm because people don't realize. I hate to be the one to explain this to people, all right? But this is a very real thing. I don't know. I've worked with people who have been in the criminal justice system. I've worked with people who have been in poverty. A lot of people who cause harm might not realize that they cause harm. That is a fact of the world, right? And so if you want to actually meaningfully improve or change someone, it's good sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes to try and make that connection with them and to try and actually like convince them and to show them, right? Especially if they're willing to listen. And Calvin listened. He did. He listened. And took down the videos. He did the thing that everyone wanted. And specifically cited me as the reason that he did. So, how do you think lefties online responded to me getting them the thing that they wanted? How do you think they responded? Oh, look at that. 202 likes to 358 likes. For talking to Calvin about how he can improve. Let's read the comments. Strap in, everyone. This is gonna... Oh, yeah. But yeah, if this is gonna be, though, if I'm gonna be treated negatively for just trying to help the situation, then this will be the last video I make on the subject. Just leave me alone. Well, people kept harassing me. Here we are. Here, let's go. Oh, no offense. Oh, no offense. Gaslighting, no offense. No offense who gaslit me into tried to gaslight me into believing that I actually wasn't sent hundreds of death threats by socialists. Oh, cool. What does no offense have to say? Don't really think it's fair to suggest that all of Calvin's harm was caused by him being negligent. There's absolutely harm that he intended to say. It's like saying, I'm not going to say that on stream. That's obvious. Makes me feel like we've seen completely different videos. Okay, listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to stand by this still. And especially given like my relationship with Calvin nowadays, you can say really terrible shit when you're younger. A lot of kids say a lot of really stupid shit when they're younger. That doesn't mean that they're acting like, oh yeah, I specifically want to harm this person. It means they're probably just acting like stupid fucking kids, right? And Calvin, I'm going to say this right now. Again, that was stupid as fuck to say. That was stupid as fuck to say. You shouldn't call people slurs and you shouldn't try to like do that kind of shit to other people, all right? But I'm going to extend that charitability since it seems like you've grown up a bit, as children do, you know? I knew Calvin... Oh, hold on. Wait, no offense. Oh, yeah, gaslight. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Hold on. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Gaslighting, no offense. Yeah, absolutely. Get the fuck out of here. I didn't even realize that you're in chat. Well, my bad. Yeah, no, absolutely. Get the fuck out of here. If you want to try to gaslight me into believing that I wasn't like sent death threats by hundreds upon hundreds of people, fuck you. All right? That's absolutely gaslighting. That's enabling behavior. That's abuser behavior. Fuck you. Anyway, yeah, so Calvin, no. I'm going to say it again. This is stupid as fuck behavior. You shouldn't do it. All right? Period. Full stop. But it doesn't seem like you are because, as it turns out, you grew up. Oh my God, that's crazy. The big question in everyone's mind is, but why? He literally lied to you and Zan, pulled a 180 and blew everything up. Deep sigh. How much charity are you willing to lend here and why him? This isn't a talk that should take 3 hours. It's pretty simple. If he wants to fix it, he has to change his behavior and the very basis of abusive behavior by phasing out the old content and replacing it with something worthwhile that isn't taking advantage of other trans lives. This is a conversation where I told... So Calvin gets second chances, but Noah doesn't. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that Calvin Gara was that Calvin Gara tried to gaslight me into believing that I wasn't being harassed by hundreds upon hundreds of people. No, so get the fuck out of here. Yeah, no, I didn't realize. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that Calvin tried to gaslight me into believing that I wasn't being harassed by hundreds upon hundreds of people. I didn't realize that happened. I didn't realize that Calvin did that. My bad. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Oh my God. No, I did not realize that. Calvin makes a career change out of being a trans medicalist and shit on trans people. RGR, I can fix him. But I did! I literally, like, these people, I can't understand what these people want. Like, here's my honest opinion. You really missed the mark on this one, Riley. How did I miss the mark? I gave them what they wanted. I gave them what they wanted. Calvin is normally one of the harassers. Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna... No, get the fuck out of here. Everyone who wants to say that, like, oh yeah, Calvin is normally one of the harassers, citing back to specifically before he took down all of his problematic videos and apologized publicly. Wow, that's really weird how you have to specify before he actually tried to do things to be better. Oh my God, that's crazy. If we're going to excuse the biting stuffed dog whistles as not real harassment, then we better throw out a lot of harassment from alt-right against LGBT minorities. Yep, Pixie is absolutely right. If we're going to throw out the, oh yeah, you know what, biting the finger, that's not actually harassment. That's not actually causing any harm. Then I want No Offense to be the first person every time that a Stone Toss comic comes out to be the first person on the front line to say, actually, that's not that bad. Actually, come on, it's just joking. Actually, come on, everyone, it doesn't matter that much. Come on, it's just a casual joke. Come on, like, this isn't a bad thing, you know? I want No Offense specifically to be the very first person every time that Stone Toss comes out with a new comic to be the one to say, pretty sure that people were saying more than just, oh yeah, no, that was like the most milquetoast example too that he picked out, right? But I want No Offense to be specifically the first person every time that someone on the far right, especially Stone Toss, ever comes out with a joke talking about how, oh, trans people should kill themselves, black people are degenerate, Jews are secretly controlling the world. I want No Offense to be the first person to ever come out and defend them and say, oh, you know, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Anti-leftism. Oh, hold on. Oh, you ban-evaded. Oh my God. I'm gonna ban the fuck out of you. Oh yeah. No, that's a person who used to be in the Discord and ban-evaded. Oh my God, that's amazing. I can't believe this. And also, yeah, if people want to say, oh, this isn't representing the entire left, then fine. Then agree with me. I'm a leftist. Or I'm someone who identifies broadly on the left. Then stop agreeing with these terrible things. All right? If there's bad arguments that people who generally agree with you make, then stop making with them. Then don't agree with the bad arguments. Has Noah apologized and changed? Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Do you think that Noah's apologized? No, Noah doubled down on this take. Whereas Calvin, conversely, actually apologized and changed. Oh my God, that's crazy. Obviously, basing your ideology on any anti-Xism, I'm not doing that. He did harm, but he apologized and he's working on it. He deleted his videos and in my mind, he's on the right path. Yes, that's exactly it. Early on, I disagree with Riley that Calvin's take didn't intend to cause harm. The clips I've seen, he intended to make fun of non-binary people. Again, this is the same idea. Like, people can do stupid shit, but he's actually made reasonable efforts to, like, reconcile and do better. I don't think that you're really getting the severity of Calvin's impact on the trans mass community, and I think that your personal experience with him has blinded you to the awful things he said and done. You're blatantly able-bodied trans woman. He's not going to hurt you. I'm a disabled, gender-fluid person. People like Calvin terrify the ever-loving shit out of me. His actions directly resulted in people attempting to revoke someone's disability benefits, which could be a genuine threat to their life. 101 likes. I want people to look at this comment and just ask yourselves, what does this person want? What do these people want? I genuinely don't know. Here's the nuclear hot take, all right? I think Riley, Vivian is subtweeting the hell out of you at the moment. Oh, Vivian? Yeah, no, obviously the most reliable person in the whole fucking world. Yeah, totally. 1000%. Yeah, totally. I don't know. Anyone who thinks that Vivian is someone worth listening to, I don't know. Like, you are far gone, my friend. But yeah, no, the problem here is that, like, no one, not a single person, no, or I shouldn't say that. I have no idea what this person wants. I have no idea what this person wants. And the nuclear hot take is that all these people just want Calvin to be gone. They don't want him to actually do better. They don't want him to actually, they didn't want him to take down his videos. They wanted him to just go off and disappear or just fucking die. All right? Like, if I did not say anything short of, oh, Calvin is a terrible, shit, awful piece of shit person and doesn't deserve any help or any sympathy from any single goddamn person. If I did not say anything short of that, none of these people would have listened to me. Every past bad belief equals lifetime present sentence. Yeah. This is why people stray towards the right. Yep. Yeah. And it really sucks, right? Because all these people who are absolutely, I can guarantee you the vast majority of these people are like, oh, yeah, abolish all prisons. You know, we should abolish prisons. What do you call it? Abolish prisons. You know, murderers should go walk free. Oh, we shouldn't have like any retributive kind of justice in the criminal justice system. We should be completely utilitarian. Like, this is literally the exact opposite of that. Rehabilitation is cool unless it's the people I hate. Yeah, exactly. There are so many of these comments, people. There are so many of these comments. Very weird to see RGR complain that no one listens to her and then multiple times respond in a way that proves she isn't listening to Mo. When does this happen? I literally respond to everything that they said. Oh, hold on. I'm pretty sure that there was, oh yeah, Vadim. Vadim, what the fuck is going on? Hey, Riley, you know I like you and what you do, but I'm going to be a little critical here. Granted, I'm 47 minutes in, so you may know this with your video, but it's really clear from Mo's video that they are far more concerned with speaking out to both his fans and those who have been either confused or hurt by Calvin's actions rather than changing Calvin. Whereas changing Calvin is a noble goal, that's not what Mo's concerned with, and I do not think that there's a great deal of merit in addressing a mass of people rather than setting out to change one content creator. I'm not really sure if there's a perfect balance in making a video like this, so that it can do both at the same time. Anyhow, I see this sort of thing occur with streamers very that I like very much like yourself, where they react in real-time videos that they haven't watched beforehand, responding in the manner that they perhaps wouldn't if they had watched the entire video. I reacted the exact same if I had watched the entire video beforehand. So also, that's a really weird thing. People keep saying, oh, Riley, you didn't watch the entire video. I've watched every video that these people put out. My opinions on them have not changed at all, period. Hey, Riley, you say that no one will engage with your ideas after you directly misrepresent me. I absolutely did not misrepresent you. Absolutely not. I'm more than willing. And also, by the way, hold on. I actually have criteria to make sure that I cut out toxic people out of my life. Oh my God. Amazing, right? Let's see. I'm going to go back to rules. Sorry, everyone. I'm going away for a second. Yeah, because Doe is incredibly toxic, like, is just toxic as fuck, right? Do not block and/or dissociate with people just based on disagreement. Only block or dissociate with people when it is reasonably clear they will not extend any charitability to your positions, no matter what they say. That's already clear. Like, they didn't even make any attempt to understand my positions in the first place. And they intentionally try to harm you. I feel like both of those criteria are immediately met. Like, not only did they, like, try to clip me out of context, not only did they not represent what my positions actually were, not only did they not agree when they absolutely should have, but also, on top of that, they tried to launch a campaign of harassment against me. Absolutely not. Fuck that person. I'm sorry. You want to play the, oh, you know, Riley, I just want to talk to you as a reasonable person. No, I know what your arguments are. I absolutely understand them. You made no attempt to understand my arguments, and you also try to launch a campaign of hate against me. Go fuck yourself. Now, anyway, back to this. I don't know. Every single one of these comments is just completely shitting on me. And I don't get it. I don't know what the online left wants. I don't know what they want. I don't know what these people want. Like, again, I want to remind you all, the reason that they're reacting this way was because I gave them what they wanted. I gave them what they wanted. I hate to be the one to tell you, but if every single video that people put out about Calvin is just shitting on him repeatedly, unquestionably, and there's no one who's actually making any effort to try and do the thing that will get the thing that you all want, which is for him to take down the videos, I assume, I don't know what to tell you. I actually gave you what you wanted. Leave me alone. What the fuck is wrong with you? End clip. Some of them were making actual points. Some of them were just blind hate comments. What are the points to be made? What are the points to be made? I don't know how I acted unethically. I know what the arguments that people are. I'm not trying to downplay any of the harm that's been caused to anyone. I just took a different approach to getting the thing that everyone wanted. And whoa, it worked. Oh, they're in YouTube chat? Oh, cool. Yeah, these people are incredibly toxic. I don't know what to tell you people. Like, don't associate with them. They are toxic as fuck, and they just want to harm me for... So, Vivian's is, she wants to harm me for saying that kink in front of children is bad, which I stand by. Yeah. And Noah wants to gaslight me into believing that I actually didn't get sent hundreds of death threats. Toxic people, I do not recommend... Now, technically, I cannot tell you all who to associate with. I'm just telling you that my experience with them has been incredibly toxic. You can associate with whoever you want, and I'm not going to talk about them beyond just my personal interactions with them. So have fun with that. Anyway, let's see. It is 6:09. That's good. Why don't we go ahead and make some YouTube videos? Yeah. Oh, yeah, and also, people who I have who are, like, mods for me, let me know if you want me to mod you. Lefty, Riley is just banning everyone who has dissenting opinion. Dissenting opinion. Riley wants to ban all kink and is moving to the far right. Yeah, exactly. Here, if people want me to go over it, now that we're kind of over with the segments, here, I'll explicitly explain this, because while I was in recovery, I did a lot of thinking about exactly what the best practices are for engaging healthily online, because I care about engaging healthily online. I'm very specific to not block people who just disagree with me. I'm very specific not to. I only block people for these criteria. If you meet one of these criteria, then I'm going to block you because you're toxic as fuck. The reasons are, 1, it's reasonably clear that you will not extend any charitability in my positions, no matter what I say. 2, you're intentionally trying to harm me. 3, they negligently cause me harm and do not reasonably try to reconcile the harm. 4, I appreciate it. And other people who want to support what I am doing can support me at patreon.com/RileyGRochon. I appreciate it. I'm reasonably sure that they're motivated primarily by a financial incentive, because if I'm talking to someone who really only cares about money, then there's no way I'm going to be able to convince them if I'm talking about something that will go against their monetary incentive. Or if I'm talking about someone who I'm reasonably certain is motivated by primarily a clout incentive. Because likewise, if I'm talking to someone who is mostly concerned with having with appealing to their audience rather than caring about what is true, then there's no convincing that person, right? So yeah, those are the reasons I block people. And I'm not going to talk to people who violate those terms, right? You are not going to extend charitability what I say, and you're going to try and harass me online, and you're going to gaslight the fuck out of me, then I'm not going to interact with you. And whoa, it looks like people got bent the fuck out of shape over that. Oh my god. That's crazy. But what do you do? Anyway, let's make some YouTube videos. How's that sound, fam? It's almost like the left TM is not a cohesive group. It's really not. It's not really that different from saying the blondes. I mean, like, all right. So to be clear, when I say like left or lefties or leftists, I'm not saying like every single individual leftist. Just like when I say that like conservatives generally hold this view, I'm not saying that every single individual conservative holds this view, right? Because I identify as a left-leaning person. I'm not going to sit here and say that like I'm an unreasonable person when I believe that I have a lot of the like really good beliefs, right? But the problem is that like everyone who's harassing me right now is united by the fact that they are a lefty. That is the problem. Like every single person who's harassing me right now, like that is the common denominator. All right? Online lefties, sure, we can specify online lefties or Twitter lefties, right? You can specify however you want to. It's unfortunately not just online politics, but online friendships, communities you get in online. There's a lot of shit that happens. Dipshits on the left are so much more unnerving because you generally expect them to have their value system in place. At least we know conservatives hate trans people. Yeah, I mean, like, we would like, generally... Well, I mean, like, they do have their values in place, except that the problem is that a lot of them are, like, ideologically driven to the point where they feel like they have to defend things that they haven't logically thought through, right? Like, this is probably one of the big reasons that a lot of people online dogmatically advocate for, like, gender is only self-identification, because a lot of people feel like, oh, this is something which is, like, assumed to be a part of the set of like accepted values in this space. So anyone who argues against it is automatically going against the general prevailing rules of the space, right? That's not a shout at you. I was sort of responding. Yeah, you're fine. Like moral luck is a huge problem. Oh yeah, it's absolutely a massive, massive issue. Anyway, I don't know. There's a lot of people who are acting incredibly bad faith in, like, I'm pretty sure Twitch and YouTube chat. If you want to go talk to those people, then I would appreciate it, because holy shit. No one listens to me. Not a single fucking person. Not one. Yeah. Plus, gender as a choice is a conservative talking point. I know, but people are arguing for it. Why? Why do people feel the need to argue for it? I used to be an anti-SJW type. I wish I had more luck. Damn. The problem with having moral luck, and this is the problem here. Yeah, love you too, Calvin. Good shit. Just don't be trans, Pepe. Yeah. Like, the problem here is that, like, when you're morally lucky with a lot of your beliefs, it means that when you're actually asked to defend your beliefs or why you believe them, you can't actually give a good reason why. And the big problem with that is that it can lead you to end up believing things which are really shitty for the same reasons, right? Bloodsports and VC inbound. What are you talking about? Conservatives don't say gender is a choice. They're talking ways that gender... No, they absolutely argue that gender is a choice. That's a big talking point from a lot of like conservative Christians who argue that, oh, you can just choose to not be trans. You can just choose to not be gay, right? Like, that's a choice that you're making, and it's in the moral choice that you're making. It's absolutely something that a lot of conservatives make. Like, they're saying that you're choosing to be sinful, and you have to choose to not be X sexuality or gender. Someone in YouTube chat literally just said how gender being a choice is a conservative talking point. Yeah, there's no convincing most people. I know. But whatever. I will build up my community. I will build up a community of people who actually care about facts and who care about, like, not harassing people online just because they're saying things which are pretty non-confrontational. Like, again, I'll stop doing these drama streams. Like, this is going to be the way it's going to be from now on. I will stop doing them if people just stop harassing me. Like, that's it. You know what I want? Is just not to be harassed. And I just want to do research. But fine. People want to fuck with me, they're going to find out. That's the way that we're going to be from now on. Yee. I think the conservative talking point would be that all trans people are mentally ill, you know, fucked up. Well, I mean, like, there are multiple there are multiple ways that conservatives will address trans people. But it's absolutely a conservative talking point that being trans is a choice. Yep. Listen, we will be better, be stronger. Yeah. All right, let's see. But I'll turn down the volume a little bit. I don't know, Riley. I strongly doubt the harassment is going to stop anytime soon. I think people read this feed comes off as drama streams. It gives them another excuse to paint you in bad light, reasonably or not. Well, then, listen, then I'll keep dunking on them, all right? If this is the mission, if there's no one else who's going to call out this behavior, because the problem is, the additional problem on top of this is that not only am I being harassed, but there's really not that many other people who are actually defending me, right? Like, it's not just the fact that, like, I'm being harassed by other people, but I don't have the luxury of being a ContraPoints and having people and having, like, a whole network of people who pop out underneath me to defend me. I don't have that luxury, all right? I have myself. Or, yeah, like, I just don't have that luxury. So if other people are going to harass me online and the only option is for me to be able to defend myself, then I'm going to defend myself. The bystander effect or no one ever aggrieving? Yeah. Riley had a question. So people who later on in life realize that they're non-binary trans, how does that fit into the current academic consensus? That's perfectly fine. That's actually, like, that makes total sense, right? Because it means that they always had that kind of internal set of inclinations, that internal psychology, but they had to inductively reason out. They had to figure that out, or it took them more time to figure that out later on, right? Basically, like with gender, you have to kind of inductively suss out what the best fit is gender-wise for, you know, what your psychology is. I have a video if you want to watch it on how you know what your gender is, if people want to link it. But yeah, I've already talked with people about this before. I'm actually gonna, let's see. I don't think I'm going to do too much editing. What time is it? 6:21? Okay. I think what I'll end up doing... Girl boss Marcy misgendered me and disrespected my gender identity when I told her not to. Oh! That's cool. That's great. Yeah, a lot of these people have the exact principle. Like, I can describe to you the vast majority of people, in, like, or especially, like, the specific mindset of a lot of the toxic people in the space. Their specific, like the specific kind of criteria is, I'm going to act super woke and super, I'm going to act super woke and I'm going to have unreasonably high standards for ethics for everyone else that I criticize, but I'm not going to I'm going to drop those the minute that it would require me enforcing those against people who I don't like. Like, that is the specific mentality. It's, I'm going to have such an unreasonably high burden of wokeness on everyone else who I criticize, but the minute that we're talking about harm being caused to someone who I don't like, none of that matters. Or themselves? Oh, yeah, or themselves. Well, I mean, like, when we're talking about them harming other people, because, I mean, like, if it's, like, they cause harm to another person who they like, then they might bite the bullet, but it has to do with, like, someone who they don't like, right? Like, that's the specific criteria. It's like Calvin, right? Like, anyone's, like, everyone in the space is going to be like, oh, yeah, abolish prisons, you know, the entire criminal justice system is unjust. It needs to be abolished. But then as soon as we begin talking about someone who's actually shown meaningful change and rehabilitation, but that they happen to not like personally, then they immediately all turn around and be like, oh yeah, no, this person is fucking terrible, right? Mel isn't a content creator. She's just chronically online. Yeah, I don't know. It's better to not give her attention because, like, or I don't know. I do think that a big reason that she grew a lot from Vosh is because, like, Vosh's community is, like, specifically prime because Vosh, like, I don't know. I don't want to, like, get involved more in drama. I've already given my thoughts about Vosh, and when Vosh looked at it, he specifically responded by just saying that I was being sexist towards him or joking about it negligently. So whatever. Kind of sucks, but it wasn't surprising to me. The point being that it was not surprising to me that when Mel interacted with Vosh, that a lot of her following came from his audience. That was not a big sell to me. Have I seen... I used to like this RGR, but this is some terminally online. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, let's see what Vosh's community is saying about me. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. These people don't know how to read either. Oh, that's great. Oh, my God. All right. Y'all remember when we talked about this earlier? I used to like RGR, but this is some terminally online shit. Let's click on this. I have to wonder if the online left is one of the leading contributors to trans suicide for relentlessly bullying trans women or standing by and doing absolutely nothing about it when they see it. To clarify... this is more of me venting than a statement of perceived fact. Dealing with multiple harassment campaigns one after another takes its toll. Wait, is the top comment doing the 40%? No way. Ah, yes, this is the left bullying trans women that causes high suicide rate. They didn't read it! They didn't read it! They don't know how to read! Why does nobody read? Oh my God! Vosh! Teach your community how to read. If they would have read past the first tweet, you would know that it's not a statement of perceived fact, but just venting, because I've dealt with multiple harassment campaigns. Someone linked your tweet and you got downvoted? Wait, what, really? Hold on. Ah, yes. Is this the left bullying trans women that causes high suicide rates? It's totally not lack of access to healthcare, refusal to accept their existence from society is for it. I don't deny any of this. Literally, they're assuming that I'm stating this as a statement of perceived fact. Oh my God. Hi. Oh, hold on. Wait. What? Also, hi, Riley. Trans men exist, but I seem that you seem to forget that. Something that TERFs also do. Now I'm a TERF! What the fuck? Hey, fam. Apparently, it's just then. Vosh's community has concluded that apparently, for complaining about being harassed by lefties online, that I'm now a TERF. Converted Calvin but ignores trans men. Oh my God, yeah. What is this? Yeah, specifically choosing to ignore. How can they say that I ignore trans men and then I'm specifically credited with getting Calvin to change? Can't you criticize her without falsely hinting that she's being a trans medicalist? She won't go that route, and if she did, wait, hold on. Can't wait for her trans medicalist arc. What a time to be alive. Oh yeah, and that's what they said. Can't wait for his trans medicalist arc. Yeah, all these people really want me to be trans medicalist, but the problem is I'm not. I don't know what makes these people think that I am, other than saying that gender isn't a choice. That's literally the only thing that people ever say makes me a trans medicalist. I don't know where they get it from. I don't know why they could possibly take that and think that, oh, apparently Riley is not only a trans medicalist, but also a TERF. I'm not watching another political stream for a month after this. Fuck this. I don't know if you're venting about me or venting about the drama. Anyway. Where she heavily implies that Vosh redacted methods of political discourse is better than Vosh's method without Vosh's description. I literally didn't say that! Oh my God. Honestly, I think she should just log off to social media for a bit and recuperate her mental health, especially if she is conflating different political opinion and attacks on her as a person. She said that, oh, yeah, so literally this is, again, I can't believe this. Y'all remember when I put out the thing about Vosh versus Destiny and like their differences in approach? RJR, lots of people probably do not get what you meant with calling that tweet venting. I had to think it over twice to understand that you were hyperbole over the harassment. You're a binary trans woman who doesn't think gender is a choice. You're clear. Wildcard Sam, I cannot tell if you're being ironic right now. Tell me that you're being ironic, all right? Because if you are, it's not a... I am at the point where I cannot tell if this is irony or not. Anyway, I had to think it over twice to understand that you were going through hyperbole from harassment. That was irony? Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, if people... Well, I mean, that's why I made the clarifying statement. I thought it was clear, but yeah, I'm going through a lot of harassment right now. So that's why I specifically made the clarifying statement. Like, that's why I made the clarifying statement, so that people don't get confused about it. But I guess that is too much for people to read. I guess that's also the same reason that people got bent out of shape whenever I made the single doc that people thought was too much, where I described how I follow people. Yeah, just use /s. Yeah, that probably would be better. Incredibly hard to do sarcasm over text. Yeah, it's just like sometimes I can't tell. Riley doesn't even have a DGG account and probably has been on stream in the last 5 years. Blaming redacted. I'm like, yes, thank you. Person complains about bullying this person. How about we do some more bullying and that'll fix the problem? Comment remove. Oh, they're commenting. They're talking about something from moderator. Where's the one where they put... Dear God. Oh, hold on. Why did it get downvoted? All right, hold on. All right, where's the first one here? I like RGR, but like someone else terminally online I won't name, she gets way too sucked into emotionally petty feuds. Apparently getting harassed by hundreds of people is emotionally petty feuds, but okay. I don't begrudge anyone the right to defend themselves, but emotional defensiveness that occasionally wades into crybaby behavior is at best awful, boring content. Fam, is emotional defensiveness that... Hold on. Does calling out hundreds of people harassing you online for the most milquetoast takes possible crybaby behavior? I don't understand this. What is this submit to the mob mentality? What am I supposed to do when people harass me online? Yeah, wait, why are they calling me the crybaby in this? Like, what am I supposed to do when hundreds of people harass me online? I'm going to defend myself. Like, what? I'm supposed to just, like, lay over and take it? I cannot take your cry-bullying, kink at pride, anonymous, unsubscribable. Yeah, I know, right? Like, literally everyone who's involved in this kink at pride discourse is cry-bullying me. Like, the doe person on Twitter, Riley, how dare you misrepresent what I'm saying, even though I absolutely am not. And how dare, you know, I just want to have an honest, intellectual debate with you, even though I've launched a harassment campaign against you when this wasn't relevant anymore. Yeah, no, like, everyone is cry-bullying against me, but apparently I'm the cry-bully. Cool. Vaguely gesturing at a posture. Yeah, where's the one? The tweet is literally attached to the twinkling tier. She's obviously going through shit and posts like this are making this worse. Just leave her alone. Downvoted 4 times. The one person in Vosh's community. The one person in Vosh's community who actually read the full tweet and knew I was venting, got downvoted for clarifying? I understand, but that's not an excuse to say the entire online left is responsible for trans suicide. That's huge, unrealistic generalization that carries a lot of weight. They didn't read it! This person posted where I said that this wasn't a statement of perceived fact, and this person still ignored it, because that's not what I'm saying. Okay. Hey, Vosh, teach your community how to read, and please tell them to stop harassing me. Thanks. Okay, you know what? 3 videos today. Fuck it. Accusing someone of attacking you, then using that to attack them and curry sympathy. Yeah, exactly. But they all read theory. Yeah, exactly. Fuck me. You know, this is the specific reason. Hold on. Actually, you know what? You know, this is the specific reason. The specific reason that I try to be as thoughtful and articulate with what I say. Because there's a lot of people online. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of people online who misrepresent what other people say and believe. It happens constantly. It happened there pretty plainly and obviously. The reason I put as much thought into what I say and what I believe is because I want at least the people who care to know that you can always be, like, you should always be able to know exactly why I believe what I believe or exactly why I do what I do. You know? I put out these documents, I put out these statements, and I try to be as thorough as possible with how I run my community, my ethics, with how I operate myself, because I want to make sure that you are all always aware. I want you all to be always aware of exactly why I do what I do. You know? And I want you to be able to say when someone else is going out and saying, oh, RJR is a terrible person. Oh, RJR is shitty. Oh, RJR is transmedicalist. If someone says that I'm like transmedicalist, true scrum, turf, or whatever, you can give them my docs and that'll shut that conversation down. If someone says, oh, Riley is following this person because she's a turf or whatever, even though that's not true. I think that's about like Gammy, right? Or like a transmedicalist, which also isn't true. Then you can be able to send them my list for how I follow people and you can shut them down, right? Like the whole point, hey Gritty, how's it going? The whole point of what I do is so that when other people try to smear me, which is going to happen more and more going forward, is that you should always, always, always be able to know that I have thought ahead and I've prepared something so that you can be able to respond to people and say, no, that's not why RGR believes what she does. This is the reason why she does what she does, you know? Because there are a lot of people out there who, for some reason, really hate me and want to smear me. So hopefully you all, by virtue of, especially if you complete a verification process whereby you learn exactly what my public positions are, various issues, and where we constantly refine and figure out what we believe, hopefully you all are fully aware of what my positions are, and if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, you can be able to go to those people and be like, no, that's not what she believes, this is what she believes. So trans cannot be, what the fuck are you talking about? So trans cannot be a choice because it isn't fleeting as a choice would imply. It's not, because the totality of the academic consensus suggests that every time we try to test whether or not people can choose their gender, every time we find that it's not the case. The best example of this is with conversion therapy, where conversion therapy never works for anyone. If it worked for some people, then gender would be a choice for some people, because then for those people where it's just a choice that's not appealing to some deep underlying held psychological preference towards something or a set of actions or a set of social expressions or categories or whatever, then we wouldn't see those people, then we would see those people change, right? In conversion, we would see conversion therapy work sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time. Yeah. Thank you. It's incredibly strange to me that the response goes to a hyper-literal interpretation of those tweets rather than maybe acknowledging the ways that people in the online left communities can sometimes greatly abuse the fact that they are one of the few perceived refugees of minorities, especially newly out people or people just starting to become cognizant of their identity or how social dynamics affect them. Yeah. Also, when things are a choice, they're the content of your character and up to reasonable scrutiny as such. And if it's a choice, we may as well allow conversion therapy, conversion torture for informed consenting adults. But we don't want that, and it never works because there's no choice to change. Yeah, exactly. One could argue that the methods of conversion therapy are just wrong. Who knows, maybe. But that's... Listen, Katerin, that's real... Careful there, because now you're saying, like, literally... I mean, this is kind of the same thing as, like, the discussion I had with Jangles, where it's like, technically, if you say that actually, like, the only ways that we measure whether or not these things are ethical are based off of, like, the demonstrable harm they cause to people, then that's suggesting that they're actually fine. We just need to find a better way to do them. And I don't know. I'm going to say that there's no way to be able to do conversion therapy ethically, right? Like, I don't think that there is a way. Oh, sarcasm. Yeah, sorry. No, but that's the thing, right? I'm sorry, I'm dealing with so many. I'm dealing with people with these arguments from everyone, but I will respond to the argument, right? Like the issue is that, like, you do literally open up the door for, like when you say that gender is a choice, then you necessarily must concede that there is an ethical way to do conversion therapy, right? Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, so it's like, yeah. It's really just, it's fucking hard. Let's see. I'm just going to cut out, like, here, back to editing for a bit. Yeah, and I'm sorry. And I need to pay attention. It's just that, like, right now, just so you understand, like, I do try genuinely to be chill on stream. It's just like right now, I've been harassed so fucking much online. Like, I've been harassed so fucking much online. So... right? How do you select both of them? Weird. You're not ESOing tonight, right? No, I'm just gonna finish these videos. They're gonna be uploading over the next couple days. But yeah, no, I apologize. Yeah, it's just like, I guess that the reason why specifically, beyond just like the fact that I'm traveling tonight, so I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, is the fact that, like, no, yes, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I know, I apologize. Too far. Oh, Lord. All right, we're gonna just focus on like big breaks in here. No, I'm not. Yeah, oh, I missed my window to post the Kink Discourse relevant tweet, how I've been treated. That's okay. You can talk about it here. Pixie, if you want, you can join the stream chat. RJ, when you do the early stream MMO work, I'm sorry, I normally don't. It's just like I'm flying out later today, so I'm making content for the weekend. And also I'm dealing with stuff that happened to me from throughout this week. Yep. Like, listen, I am defending myself and my community. Like, if people, it really sucks because like I really wanted my platform to just like focus on the shorts, and I just wanted to focus on research. But like it seems that no matter what I do, that people will just try to harass me. So fuck it. You know what? Fine. We're gonna push back a little bit. These people want to fuck around, then they can find out. Oh gosh, I don't want to talk about a big whole drama that distraction videos. Can I post one tweet? How about this? If you join, I'll just edit and you can talk, Pixie, if you want. Or you can just post. That either is up to you. I'll just focus on editing. But yeah, like, fortunately, I've worked out ethically about who I want to promote and who I don't want to promote. So I'm honestly like 1000% fine with promoting you because you meet my criteria for who I think is like constructively adding to discourse. So, yeah, I'm gonna promote you however I can, as opposed with like, you know, other public figures who I worry would take advantage of me. Do you not have that worry with you? Oh, yeah, that's oh, look. Child. Oh, look. Oh. Two things here. First, it's not much actually on this lap. It hurts. Dear God, it does hurt. Now we're behind the scenes. Oh. And now we're behind the scenes where it's like, You ghoul. You ghoul. I cannot believe these people. Oh, hold on. This is actually all right. This would be a funny cut. Let's see if this looks good. Between partners. You ghoul. It hurts so much. That's pretty good. It hurts so much. That's a good meme. Lip pin. Oh, that's good. Big approve. Okay, cool. A good argument against kink around children would be smoking weed isn't a bad thing in and of itself. However, doing that thing around children is kind of bad. Don't do that. Yeah, I mean, like, we could think of a ton of things. Like I don't know, anything that we generally age restrict. Or I don't know, we have to be careful. Yeah, smoking weed is a really good example. Smoking cigarettes is a good example. Here's one that I used at the time. Shooting a gun into the middle of the air, right? Generally we would regard like doing that as something that shouldn't be done in a public space and around people who don't consent, right? Because even if you don't technically harm someone, you're engaging in incredibly risky behavior, right? Like that's very comparable, I would think, right? Like where it's like no one would say that if you're just in the middle of a crowd and you shoot a gun into the middle of the air, that's completely fine, right? I only want to share this because I was so conflated with you and Destiny the whole time. So it wasn't just my thing. Otherwise, I don't want to abuse your platform. Also, it might be proof for the people denying harassment from the other side, but it doesn't concern a harmful actor who's been tweeting about you too. I'm just sad right now. Girl boss Marcy misgendered me and mocked my... Wait, hold on. All right, let's see what's happening. I only want to share this here because I was so conflated with you and Destiny this whole time because it wasn't just my thing. Otherwise, I don't want to abuse your platform. Also, it might be proof for other people denying harassment from the other side, but it doesn't concern a harmful actor who's been tweeting about you too. Oh, great. People who are tweeting about me. Girl boss Marcy misgendered me and mocked my gender identity when I told her not to. She blocked me not long after and I didn't get to respond. This hurt. Thank you. You're super cool. Anyway, continuing. But thank you. You deserve to have your gender identity respected no matter who you are. You DM'd me, dude. Don't misgender me. I don't learn things from Destiny. I said I don't keep up with that, and it's a weird ad hominem. Wanting me to police every use of the word stupid everywhere is unreasonable. These are sounding like excuses. Do you still stand by your critique of me based on a misunderstanding of my argument, or are you dropping that in favor of second point? Lol. Queen, you are cis. Literally the definition of performative wokeness. And I have a valid gender identity. You're a fucking joke. Okay. This is so many levels of fucked up. So first, I'm going to start off with the idea that, like, it's not necessary. So there's a couple things. I first have to begin with unpacking the fact that, like, I think that dude can be used in a gender neutral way. I do believe that, but I also believe that when you use it with someone and they later express that they're not comfortable being referred to that way because it affronts their gender identity, then you should reasonably apologize. That's my take, right? Like, I think that dude can be used, like, in a gender neutral way, but, like, if someone specifically says, like, hey, don't call me dude, it makes me really uncomfortable, it goes contrary to my gender identity, and then you say, fuck you. Like, it doesn't matter if the person who asks for their gender identity to be respected is cis or trans. We respect people's gender identity, whoever they are, right? Like, trans people don't get this special, like, oh, you know, we're gonna respect your gender identity, but not cis people's, you know? Like, that's not how that works. At the end of the day, just refer to people in the way they want to. Why is it so complicated? Yeah. The girl boss Marcy person got banned from DGG ever since she's been going after Destiny. I noticed Marcy is trying to label Riley as the other Destiny Orbiter, now trying to ignore everything that Riley has been going on herself. Everything Riley has going on for herself. Oh, great. I really want there to be a do that role. We have Dude Plus and Do Madness. If people really want that, we can talk about it. But yeah, here it's not like... I think that, like, it's reasonable to be able to refer to people as dude if you do it generally as, like, a gender neutral way. But when someone asks you, like, hey, that's really hurtful to me. Please respect my, yeah, I'm a woman, she, her. Thank you for asking. What's yours? Yeah, exactly. Like, when someone tells you, hey, I'm not comfortable with that, please do not refer to me like that. And your response is, lol, queen, you are cis. You're a fucking joke, lol. That's not the right answer, you know? We respect everyone's gender identity, regardless of whether or not they're cis and regardless of whether or not you agree with them. Yeah, so it's not really surprising that this person is going after Destiny because it seems to be another example of someone who has incredibly unreasonably high woke standards for other people, but immediately drops them when interacting with someone who they don't like. You know? Misgendering is always insulting no matter who is the target. Some folks might not care as much, but that's no excuse to do it. Yes. Thank you. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Pixie. Yeah. The fuck is going on with people? Listen, we're going to carve out this space. We're going to carve out a space for, like, a better portion of the left. The super left. The super left. All right? Where, like, every political ideology, and take all the best parts from each of them and you put them together and it's that new, better ideology. Super leftists. All right? Super left. We're going to be super left. We're going to be advocating for the goals and the ways that actually gets us to the goal, right? We're going to be we're not going to just critique the criminal justice system. We're going to get the changes that we want out of the criminal justice system. We're not just going to critique the way that a lot of the government functions right now in terms of voting. We're actually going to get the voting changes that we want. I mean, it is, yeah, I get it. Yeah. So... Oh, Boogeries left us. Yeah, there you go. But we're actually gonna do shit. All right, that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna carve out this space. We will make it exist. What about critiquing capitalism? I think it's fine to critique capitalism. The difference is that, like, I take a fundamentally, like, reformist approach. You know, I think that there's a lot of problems that exist in our country that can be resolved through reform and not through, like, a violent revolution. You know, I just don't like dog whistling mass violence. But if you want to, like, have higher taxes on people who have higher amounts of wealth, if you want better regulations for corporations, I can support all of that, you know? Just don't dog whistle mass violence. That's, yeah. But I'm also fundamentally focused on civil rights. So, I mean... I'm not going to be as focused. I mean, like, I'll focus on them insofar as they impair civil rights, or insofar as, like, capitalism impairs civil rights. But, like, I don't have any problem with critiquing a system. Every system can be critiqued. Yeah. Well, there's reform, and then there's attempting to replace the system democratically. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I don't care as, like, again, I'm not like married to any particular system. I'm going to advocate for the one that brings about the best outcomes. My understanding of the way that a lot of socialists who want to take a reformist route would want to operate would be that they would want to implement a lot of the changes that I would want. So insofar as our interests are aligned in the short term, then I'm fine. Like, as long as they don't want to just dog whistle mass violence, like, okay. Just please don't dog whistle mass violence. Then when we get to a road where, I mean, I assume that kind of the chicken and, you know, like the question is like, all right, let's assume that we get all the reforms that we want without fundamentally changing the system, and there's still flaws in it. Does that mean that we can have a new system? Then that's a question we can approach them, but we're way off from getting to that point. More to your point on do that people just laugh about it. I have lots of reasons why. Oh, okay. Destiny literally incited violence against leftist law. Wait, when did Destiny incite violence against leftists? When did that ever happen? Like, are you talking about the Kenosha take? Because I'm pretty sure that's not inciting violence. Please ban the troll, don't feed it law. Okay, yeah. Because as far as I am aware, that absolutely doesn't exist. I don't know. A lot of people, like, if you want to watch, like, how my opinions grow on Destiny, then you'd need to... I already have a video on my channel about it. I actually re-uploaded it the other day. Where a big problem with how people critique Destiny, and this is a big problem online, right, is that a lot of people just say shit about him that, like, they do about me, where it's like, oh, yeah, Destiny is a transphobe. Destiny is, like, terribly hates trans people. And then I actually talk to him, and it's like, no, actually, he's pretty chill, you know? A lot of people say he's, like, this awful, terrible Uber person, but then you actually talk to him and you listen to him, and it's like, actually, he sounds pretty reasonable. It's just that he happens to have, like, some disagreements that absolutely piss the fuck off of every lefty, which I can really sympathize with, because that's my experience. Destiny stole money from me. Destiny took my girlfriend. Yeah. Yeah, and Destiny murdered my family. Yeah, I know, right? I don't know. Make sure that you represent facts faithfully in the server. You know? Like, especially, I don't know, a lot of people have problems with Destiny the same way that they have problems with me, where it's like, they just hate him, and they'll manufacture reasons to be upset about him after. It seems to be. Like, if you want to criticize him for certain things, like rhetoric of his, then you're welcome to, because I think that I share a lot of those criticisms of him, and I've, like, criticized him before, right? But, like, a ton of people have, like, absolutely unreasonable and, like, unrealistic perceptions of him. Oh, speaking of, there was, like, a post about me. Hold on, someone made a post about me up here. If anyone wants to experience hell in real time, go check Riley's Twitter right now. That's nice. Yeah. I don't know. I appreciate it. I don't like rapping Destiny. Like, I appreciate support from other communities, you know? Like, I do. I do appreciate it. I guess I just want to make sure that it's not like, I don't want it to be where it's like, oh, I'm like, I'm not, because I don't mind being associated with Destiny. I just want to make it where it's like, I'm not reliant on him in this community, you know? I want to, like, be able to I'm trying to, like, form and grow my own community, right? Because I want it to be mine. I want it to be my thing, right? I don't want to be a Destiny clone. I don't want to be a Vosh clone. I want this thing to be unique and to be mine. And I want to be able to rely on myself, and I want to be able to be self-sufficient. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of overlap between the communities because of the nature of the space. Like, I get that, you know? But, like, I want to make sure that, like, what we do here, I don't know, I'm just going to be focusing a lot more over the course of this next year on really trying to grow up the community, right? It's okay to not agree with everything he says and also agree with some things he says. Yeah, I mean, like, we disagree about, like, the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, right? But, like, I'm not going to go around and call him, like, a terrible, awful person, because I can tell he's a fundamentally good person, you know? Like, yeah. RJ, you're doing a good job so far. Thank you. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I know that right now, like, I want to be, like, very specific, you know? I'm not gonna, like, just so that people are aware, like, there's a couple things that I would say distinguishes us in this respect, but, like, especially one going forward is that, like, if I get involved in drama, I'm never going to be the person to throw the first stone, right? Like, I'm just not. I'm going to put out informative content that I think contributes to the space and is able to clarify what my stances are, and I just want to do research. I want to do shorts because I'm really passionate about those. And then I think I only want to respond to shit like this when other people want to, like, bring me into it, you know? Like, I really just want to kind of, like, build a community to be able to adequately, because this is the hard thing, right? Because I've learned that you need to be able to defend yourselves, right? I want to be able to build a community that can defend ourselves from harassment and from people, because these people will never stop harassing. They will go forever, no matter what I say, you know? And I just want to be able to have a community that's able to defend itself, but also which is fundamentally motivated to try and bring about the good change in the world that we want to. You know? Yeah. No, I agree, Tony. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on going forward. Like, I don't like doing this. I really don't. We're speed running discourse. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, my background there. All right. Let's make a thumbnail. Yeah. Oh, also, hold on. I will make this into a video, but also, holy fuck. Girl, you want to... Mel. The QTs on this are taking years off my life. Apparently, organizing your thoughts in more than 280 characters is too as much for the vast majority of people online to be able to comprehend. Like, for fuck's sake, people, there's only one page. I can't. Girl, you went on a massive Twitter meltdown because communists and actual leftists, notice a little sneak in there, that communists are actual leftists, saw through your bullshit. You also willingly use turf arguments at this point and follow and support people who have said incredibly racist and transphobic stuff. What does transmedicalist mean to these people? I don't know. Also, hold on. I want to very specifically point out that the whole reason that I wrote out the doc for why I follow people is so that people like this can't come out and try and character assassinate me for following someone. Notice that she literally did the thing that I specifically prepared for when I wrote the document. I see this Mel a lot. What do they actually do? Are they a content creator? They're just a Twitter person. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? Yeah, no, Scott, they're just a Twitter person. That's all that they do. They're just a Twitter communist, and they just farm their following off of like a lot of people like Vosh and whatnot. That's what they do. Yeah, Melly is tanky. Mel is tanky personified. Yeah, she's a genocide denier. That's her most known quality. How do you spell assassinated? Assassinated. Is it two S's here? I guess it is. Joan. Wait, you can live? Yeah, I'm live streaming on Twitter. Wait for it. Joan. Wait, you can live? Yeah, I'm live streaming on Twitter. Huh. The audio quality isn't that great. New Twitter tankies. So when do we start actually doing praxis? Twitter tankies. That's the neat part. You don't. Amazing. I would be very careful around this brain structure thing because it needs to be verified repeatedly. Wait, what do you mean? It seems to be like, we already went over it. Like, did y'all watch the short? Like, at least we know, like, regardless of the brain verify, like, there's a difference between acknowledging that something is an intrinsic trait and being able to explain why it is the case, right? Like, there's a distinction between those two ideas, right? Like, we can reasonably suss out that gender is an intrinsic quality through inductive means by the fact that conversion therapy never works. We can be able to know that just from that alone. There's a different question about what causes it, but we're able to know from, like, that evidence alone that it's an intrinsic quality, right? But yeah, like, I can agree that, like, we still need more evidence. I think there's a decent amount of evidence to suggest, like, different possible causes for what gender is. My take on what gender is right now is that it's a very complex thing that has multiple causes, some based in nature, some based in nurture, but ultimately which forms, like, a specific kind of psychology that's beyond our choosing, right? At least, you know, in that respect. There are also, like, socially determined aspects of gender, or socially constructed aspects of gender, but it's, like, another part of gender, right? Yeah, so, like, there's an internal fact of the matter, and I don't think we know for sure what exactly it is. Yeah, I mean, we have some pretty good, like, there's a decent amount of evidence, but yeah, like, I think that's a good way to be able to put it, right? Like, we know that there is an internal, like, there's a psychological matter of the fact for what gender is. But yeah, like, it's complicated, and we need some more time to figure it out, but we're able to at least deduce from, like, the evidence about conversion therapy that it's not something that can just be changed, right? And that's enough to be able to classify it as an intrinsic quality. That's the idea. Anyway, let's make a thumbnail. Yeah. All right. Turn this back up a little bit. Do you think gender can be a choice for some people and not for others? I don't have that impression, because if it was a choice for some people, then conversion therapy would work for some people, but it doesn't. It doesn't work for anyone. But if if gender was just a choice for some people, then conversion therapy would work for some people. That's the thing, but it doesn't work for anyone. But yeah, if we concede that, like, gender is a choice for some people, which, again, I don't see any reason why it would be, then that naturally concedes that actually conversion therapy is fine. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do it, like, most ethically, right? Maybe people just don't like being forced. What do you mean people don't like just being forced? That just means that if we were to have what you're saying, like, if we were to concede that, then that would mean that if there were some people who chose their gender, then that would just mean, like, if people wanted, like, let's assume that we had someone who did hypothetically choose their gender, but then they wanted to opt into a conversion therapy. They wanted to self-opt into a conversion therapy, right? Then that would mean that we could justify having a conversion therapy for people who'd want to self-opt into it. But I don't think that we can justify any kinds of conversion therapy. I don't think it's possible to justify it, you know? Aren't you assuming that if gender was a choice, that conversion therapy... Well, yeah, it would. That would logically follow. If gender was a choice, then conversion therapy would work for some people. Like, that absolutely follows. The reason that conversion therapy doesn't work is because it's not a choice. And if you say, oh, well, then conversion therapy up until now has just sucked, and then that's just saying, oh, well, then just do better conversion therapy. There'd still be a problem with medical ethics if it did work. Then that would just, again, you're just saying, like, okay, well, what if we just had, like, better, more ethical conversion therapy, right? Like, that's what you're saying. Like, that's the problem that you're introducing, is that you're just saying, oh, conversion therapy actually isn't inherently bad. It's just the problem with how they've done it in the past, but we could theoretically do it in a way that's ethical in the future. And I don't think that there's any ethical way to do conversion therapy. I don't think that there is a single ethical way to do conversion therapy. And I don't think that any person who is trans who would actually come to the conclusion that they just randomly chose one day for no particular reason that this was their gender. I do genuinely believe that everyone is appealing to some kind of underlying matter of the fact when they determine that that is their gender. No, I'm arguing like you that there is no ethical conversion therapy. Yeah, but you're giving for a different reason. Like, I don't know what kind of ethical, issue there would be if it worked sometimes, if people could like opt into it, you know? Like, I don't know what kind of ethical issue there would be. Like, we could conceive of a type of conversion therapy that where every ethical issue was resolved if it did work for some people. The reason that conversion therapy is outlawed is because it doesn't work for people. That's the reason why. That's the overwhelming academic consensus for why it is. Like, this isn't just me saying this. This is every major reputable academic organization on the issue. So if you want to argue against me, then okay, but why don't you take that up with every major reputable academic organization on this issue first before you take it up with me? Because right now I'm just conveying the facts. And I don't like that being that person like, oh, I'm just conveying the facts. But literally when you have a statement of like the current consensus of all relevant academic organizations on this, and you're just like, oh, well, whatever, that doesn't matter, then it's really hard for me to do anything with that, you know? Like, it's incredibly hard for me to do anything with that. Is sexuality and gender fluid or not fluid? It can be. I don't know. It can change for reasons, any reasons. But I don't think that people who are gender fluid just choose to make them fluid. I think that they change for reasons that are outside of their control, right? Like, yeah. Like, I don't think that gender fluid people just wake up one day and they just, like, decide for absolutely no fucking reason. Like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to choose to be this sexuality or gender today. Like, I think that there's some kind of underlying matter of fact that, like, makes them feel different, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, with being... What's any kind of internal state that goes beyond your own choosing? Like, pain, you know? People don't choose to feel pain, right? But... it's something that we all experience internally, something that we only understand through our own mindsets. And that changes through different stimuli, right? Yeah, most people I know who are gender fluid feel their underlying gender shift day by day. Yeah, exactly. So in that case, it's like, it's not so much that they just choose arbitrarily, like, okay, this is how I'm changing up my gender every day. It's like, there's something that they're responding to that just kind of like happens in their mind. There's some kind of like stimuli that happens in their mind that makes them the way that they do, or that makes them feel the way that they do. RJR, what are your thoughts on buffalo chicken pizza? Sometimes good. Imagine choosing to be trans and being able to choose to not be trans. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people who have like gone their entire lives where they've suffered and they probably would do anything that they could to not choose to be who they are. It's not saying that, you know, being trans is inherently bad. We do live in a society, though, where being trans is very difficult. And so I imagine there's a lot of people who are in really shitty situations where it's like, if you just told them, oh, well, just choose not to be trans forehead, that it probably would not, they would probably look at you and think, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you think that if I could do that, I would have already done it? This isn't just a choice. This is who I am, you know? Again, that's not saying that, like, being trans is inherently a bad thing. Obviously not saying that, but it is acknowledging that, like, if it were the case that being trans were a choice, we probably would have seen a lot of people who otherwise would choose to not be trans or not to be gay or whatever, choose to not be that. Because we live in a society where that's broadly not as widely accepted. Okay, let's see. I have to find thumbnail. Oh, I know exactly. All right, hold on. Also, I'm literally not transmedicalist, and this is funny because I specifically made that doc so that I wouldn't be character assassinated for following someone. Shut the fuck up, transmed dickhead. Who are these people? Who are these people? They literally just make this account for me. Literally just to harass Pixie and me. I joined in September 2019. Yeah. I only use Twitter to stalk other Discord users and gaslight them. Oh, YouTube chat's gotten a lot better recently. We've calmed down now. Oh yeah, still 116 people. Well, hey, if you're watching right now and you're new, then hey, consider joining the Discord if you're not toxic. If you are toxic, please find your way to the door. If you want to harass me, then please do not. That's all I can kindly ask of you. I think what I'm going to do for this one... All right, 7:26. I'm probably... Fuck, what time is it? Let me check something really quick. Gonna have to... Let's see. Might have to do some of this work at home. With the help of my brother. Why is it being slow? Pictures. Yeah, let's see what Vosh's community is saying about me. Gonna save that. Let's have a chat about this. On trans people. Gonna save this. Or for whatever. More going forward is that you should always. You know, this is the specific reason. Don't need that. Okay. That'll be good. And then let's let this finish out. Actually, you know what? I kind of want to, before I go, I kind of want to play. Do you all mind if I play a little bit of ESO before I go? Would you all mind if I did that? Just because, like, I I'm probably going to have to complete doing these at home or when I get back to Ohio. And so, time remaining 15 minutes. These are going to take a while. Actually, I think this might be a good time for me to cut off because I have to get ready. I'm realizing that I have to get ready for my flight. It's getting dangerously close. I'm playing with fire here. My flight is in 2 hours. So I gotta get out of here. So thank you all for hanging out. Twitch chat, where am I rating you off to? Where am I sending you? Where am I sending you off to? It's a yes. Yeah, I have to send you off. Tell me who you want me to rate to. I apologize. Bye. Anyone know what came from this trouble? Hopefully the community is better as a consequence. That's what's coming from it. We're going to be stronger, more united, all that good stuff. All right. Thank you. Dylan? Sure. I'll send you over to Dylan. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, Dylan's having a debate with Larry Sharp? Oh. That'll be fun. Thanks for answering my question. Yeah, no problem. All right. I'm sending you off. My Twitch. All right. And the rest of you, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for a good stream. I know it was drama, but you know what? Bosch's subreddit is awful. That seems to be the case. They are part of why Destiny got partnered. Oh, interesting. All right, well, then I will talk to you all later, all right? Have a good night.